ask you, for you, end times, what does that represent to you? Because I have my own vision of what I think end times might be, but what's your sort of vision of what end times might be?
Well, I have very little knowledge, you can say, about end times. All my knowledge is really, all the research I've done has really been based on Dajjal and Mahdi. Mm-hmm. What comes after that is so obscure, and a lot of scholars will tell you this. I mean, there's those 10 major signs, mm-hmm. which are Gog and Magog and the fire, and a lot of that stuff, which many scholars don't even know what they're about, so they end up doing their own type of analysis for it, which is fine, but you can never really attach yourself to any one of these beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and at this point I need to cut in and let the listeners know of an embarrassing little event that just happened. We had a technical difficulty where we lost the recording, the last recording of what Achernahr was saying and the final closing of the show, unfortunately. So now we have to do another little final recording of the ending. So we didn't want to bother Brother Achernahr, and but I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what he was saying, because it was really wonderful and quite philosophical what he was talking about. And he said he was talking about many different spiritual traditions throughout mankind, talking about Buddhism and Hinduism and the Native Americans and, of course, the Judeo-Christian and Islamic traditions, and how they all have a similar theme that runs through them, a beginning of Earth story, and also a sort of end time story, and how there are a lot of similarities that run through all these different spiritual traditions, and that the end, if I could paraphrase for him, he really laid it out so eloquently. So it's just such a shame we lost it. But anyway, he was saying that it was the end time serves as more of a filtering process, where those that are good and righteous will survive the tumultuous, end time, you could look at it as sort of destructive and chaotic times for some, but some will survive it just fine and evolve and emerge into the new final world. Much like if you look in the Bible, it says, the meek shall inherit the earth, or in the Quran it says, the righteous shall inherit the earth. The good ones, the humble ones, those kind souls, they're the ones that will win the earth. So, I guess that was sort of the crux of what he was saying, and then he thanked Nimra and myself for taking the initiative to do this show and everything. So it was quite sweet, and offered his help in many ways, and so it's a shame we lost it. But I guess we're learning. Sorry for the lack of professionalism. We will work out the kinks for future shows, and just that was
we apologize. So before we wrap up, we'd like to thank Achernahr again for taking time out of his extremely busy schedule to meet with us, and we really, really appreciate it. And also, we'd like to thank Mortal for bringing us all together and just making this interview possible. And we also want to give a shout out to Sahil, who's actually the brains behind the Wake Up Project Radio, and he's the one who came up with this brilliant idea. So thanks a lot, Sahil. And finally, thank you to all the listeners for joining us for this historic first ever broadcast of the Wake Up Project Radio. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and also be sure to catch our next broadcast, where Susan will be interviewing the Austrian investigative journalist Jane Burgermeister, who's famous for filing a report with the FBI against the United Nations and the World Health Organization for conspiring to commit global genocide via a mandatory swine flu vaccination program. So make sure you guys catch that. You don't want to miss it. And also, you guys can join the Wake Up Project community at wakeupproject.com and become a part of the biggest awakening happening in the world right now. Stay tuned for more from the Wake Up Project Radio. Thanks a lot, and assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. again, if you have a product that you're interested in featuring here at Wake Up Project Radio, go ahead and contact us at wakeupproject.com. Inquire about any pricing. And since we have no advertisers on this very first show, I'm going to take full advantage of the extra minute or so that we have and advertise something. Only this is not going to cost you anything. It's a free gift, my free gift to mankind. I created it out of a willingness or a want or a desire to see a healthier world, a happier world. And anyway, it's a video series that I've created that teaches people how to heal themselves naturally, very simply, just by breaking it back down to basics and following some very simple rules that will get virtually anybody back on track. And I don't care if you've been given 4 months to live with cancer. I've gotten plenty of emails from amazing healing stories from people applying these very, very simple approaches. So I'm on a mission to take down the New World Order and make this world a wonderful place. And I think, charity begins at home, and that's why I created this whole video series. I put hundreds of hours into it. So if you're interested in watching that, it's available at thehealingpraxis.com. Again, that's thehealingpraxis.com. Praxis is spelled Praxis, just like it sounds. And, consider taking full advantage of that. Let's all get healthy and happy, and then we can move on to healing our world at large. Okay, assalamu alaikum.